wanted to share with you 7 new developments that Vrbo has put out. If you're a property manager or property owner, you need to know them. Let me just go to rentalscape.com now, and you'll see I will go through the article we published recently and give you the rundown here. So basically, that's 7 new things Vrbo has come up with. The first one, if you don't know that, there's a new 15% commission plan with Vrbo. If you are an integrated partner, so somebody who's using a channel manager, and especially if you're not in the US, you probably have to or will have to sign this new commercial contract for 15% commission. You'll see actually you have another video on our YouTube channel about it, so all the details are there. That's new thing number 1, right? And now the commission is up to 15%. Second thing, a new thing in the Vrbo owner dashboard is the Vrbo listing value. For the moment, it's only available in the US, I think. What I've noticed, what does this tool do? Well, this tool does a few things. Well, as you know, if you have a property and you want to sell it, the property has a value on the real estate market, but as you know, it also has a value as a vacation rental business. And Vrbo here is stepping in to help out. They want to give you data. If you're selling a property, data you can show to the buyer to say, hey, this is how many bookings I've made on Vrbo, and this by how much the value of the house should increase. So one, they give you data to prove this to a potential buyer. And also, behind the scenes, they make it easier for you to transfer your Vrbo listing with its name maybe, or with the photos, with the reviews and the upcoming reservations. You make it easy for you to transfer this to a new buyer. It was such a pain in the past. What's interesting, of course, for Vrbo is that in this case, they're not losing these great reviews, it's great content, they're not losing a new property, right? Because maybe the new buyer would not relist, or the new buyer would list somewhere else. So it's very, very important for Vrbo to help sellers do this, and for sellers to get this help. So quite an interesting feature here. Third new thing you may have seen is that Vrbo and Airbnb have got into a partnership, and basically this partnership is called the Community Integrity. I can't say that. Sorry for my accent. It's the Community Integrity Program. Basically, it's just the idea is to crack down on party houses. But what's very interesting for the moment, what I've read, is that how they're going to crack down, they're going to make sure that properties that have been removed from one platform don't show up on the other one. So from what I understood, they're not going after the guests, but after the hosts, or let's say maybe there's like party houses, really. That's why they're going after party houses, right? Not about parties. And they really want to make sure they have no party houses, right? Somebody listed their property, their party house, basically on Vrbo. They don't want this person, when they're closed by Vrbo, to pop up on Airbnb. So it kind of makes sense. It's interesting. It's an angle that I was not expecting, but it's really about they don't want to list party houses. So I don't know, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe there's a business for you, opening a website where people can book party houses. Who knows? But not in my backyard. Fourth thing, it's Vrbo's partnership with Affirm. So if you're in the US, you probably have come across Affirm, just like Klarna. Affirm are kind of companies that basically help people make big purchases, but without using credit card. Like on the fly, they can help people pay by installments. They promise more transparency. You know what the fees are. You know how much you're going to be paying. It's still crazy interest rates, but at least it's transparent. And that's very important because, for example, Vrbo really prides itself in enabling people to book large houses. Let's say families coming together and booking a large house, a large vacation rental, and that can be a lot of money, right? So being able to pay installments is very important, and that's what they're doing. And obviously it's good for Vrbo as well, because they're probably making good commission on whenever people are using Affirm. So interesting move. Number 5 on our list is the new commercials. So Vrbo has been very active very active on TV in the US, but in France as well, for example. And they've been showing commercials since already, I think, May or June 2020, right? They really thought, they knew that people would be turning to vacation rentals even last year during the pandemic. And they know this trend is still strong. So what they're doing, they have this new commercial showing real people who have a surprise family reunion. Basically, they told some real life Vrbo guests that they would probably pay them for a place and they would be invited and they would shoot a commercial with them. But what these people didn't know, that Vrbo had organized for their loved ones, family members they had not seen for months and months on end. They had, basically Vrbo is organizing a surprise family reunion. And it's very cute. You get like these people who have not seen their parents for 18 months and they want to introduce them their grandson. It's pretty nice. What they also have, Airbnb has done is, Vrbo has done is inviting John Legend for to record a cover of I Can See Clearly Now. So it's very nice. Yeah, I mean, to me, what's very, very interesting, they're really showing here that in the ads that Vrbo is good for families, especially multi-generational large families. It's a contrast with Airbnb's ads, who are more nostalgic and tend to show like very smaller families, like 2 or 3 people turning together. Very different. Last but one, the Premier Host Scorecard. You know that Vrbo has relaunched its former Premier Partner program into the Premier Host Scorecard program. Again, we have a pretty good article on our website about it. What's new is that it's on not on property level anymore, but on account level, and you're on the dashboard. You have a better scorecard to see what's going on, how much progress you've made. Last one, we detail on the website also Vrbo's Fast Start program. Basically, it's a program to help people, for example, who are also listing on Airbnb, get started faster, get bookings faster on Vrbo. Very smart move, going after the best, largest properties on Airbnb and telling them to try out Vrbo. Interesting move. So there are 7 things that Vrbo has been doing that you should know about. All the details are on rentalsclub.com.